What's up, guys? Recordings in progress. Welcome back. It's D3 Dropouts. It's your boys. It's your favorite D3 Dropouts coming to you live. Well, not so live, but we want to thank you for watching this video.
Make
sure to subscribe. It's super easy. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep. Like and subscribe right there.
All the egg in the sky, yeah. You be knowing it's the night, black and you can see the light. Rolling up, I'm getting high, yeah. Baby, sit back, come alive. Come with me, let's roll the dice.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 9 of D3 Dropouts. We're back. Let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. The 9-month hiatus from the boys. Connor, it's been a while. Yeah, I think 9 or 10 months.
Yeah, so I think we should start with the real reason we waited 9 months is that Brendan is now a father.
I am.
Take his pregnancy off so he could be there for no, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, no.
There's no reason for why we left, but we're happy to be back. We're happy to be bringing you more stuff, and it's going to get crazy, folks. We got a lot to talk about today. The biggest sports week of the year. I'm excited to be chatting with you once again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we talked, but I am glad to hear your voice. I'm glad to be chit-chatting back and forth. So I guess let's kick it off with what just happened yesterday or 2 days ago, I guess now when we're recording, the Super Bowl. The Rams cap it off with the 23-20 victory over the Bengals. General thoughts on the game real quick. I thought the game was pretty evenly matched, honestly. Like when you stats wise, even when you look at just the game stats, they were both working the offense more in the air, obviously. Running was, I think, both under 100 yards total. And then the other thing I had was just the fourth quarter defense was, I mean, it was atrocious from the Bengals. So that I'll lead you in with that.
Yeah, no, the Rams were definitely the better team. I mean, the Rams went all in. People criticized them for that strategy of going in for the big names and giving up the future assets, with Stafford, Von Miller, OBJ. It worked. I mean, when you win a Super Bowl, you can't really criticize it. To be honest, I was one person that didn't think it would work. I think that was, I would say running your team like it's a video game. When like you press like force trades and like next thing you know, you have all these superstars and you've given up every draft pick and every asset you ever have.
Yeah, almost like a dynasty league type thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it felt like. But at the end of the day, they got it done and won the Super Bowl. They deserved it. It was sad to see kind of the Bengals miracle season end like it did. To harp on some of your points, I agree. I actually thought it was a relatively even game, like you said, but it was a snooze fest for about a while, and it kind of just had this weird, like, oh, it's over. In a close game that was dramatic and had its moments, I thought just kind of just like it was almost like we were being walked to the cliff.
Yep.
Like for our own death, and then next thing you know, we were in heaven. The game was over.
Yeah, it was just we totally missed the part.
Like, we didn't see the actual part where we fell off the cliff.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. No. That's kind of, I didn't really tie it into that, but now that I'm thinking about it, I could kind of tie that into my last point about the fourth quarter defense. I guess you could say from both teams, but obviously the Rams were better all around. But the fourth quarter defense total was so bad that I think it was like a slow defeat in that fourth quarter where kind of you missed that like action point where it was like, wait, when did they get the lead? And when was it over like that?
Yeah. And I don't even know if it was so bad aside from that last drive where they just kind of fell asleep and Cooper Kupp kind of won an MVP just on that last drive, won the Super Bowl MVP, that is.
Yeah.
Where he probably had 5 of his 8 receptions. I mean, I wrote down he had 8 receptions, 92 yards, 2 TDs. And I think he probably had 5 of those receptions and the touchdown on that drive. Another thing I want to go into, probably we're from Detroit. A lot of the stuff we talk about is Detroit sports. So to make the Super Bowl about us
is what we do.
Matthew Stafford. Where are you at in the Matthew Stafford reign in LA?
So I've been tweeting a little bit about it. And it's hard when I tweet because I'm trying to make my point very, very clear. And I'll make it clear right here. I have no affiliation with the Rams. I'm not that kind of bandwagon guy. I root for the Lions. I live in Detroit, but I'm not like a diehard Lions guy. I am a feel good for Matthew Stafford type of guy. He deserved that. I mean, 12 seasons. That's just to show you those 12 seasons in Detroit. I mean, obviously they didn't do literally jack shit. 3 playoff appearances, 3 losses, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't the problem, and he proved it. And I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, but that was kind of
I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here on Stafford.
okay.
So all season long, I would say I've kind of been of the mindset of, like you said, rooting for him. But with all the success that he's had this year, especially in the playoffs, it's made me feel worse about myself. It's made my self-esteem go down because I'm a Lions fan. It's made my self-esteem as a Lions fan go down with every single win throughout this playoff. All year, he kind of showed the flashes of greatness, which he's always done in Detroit, but he's also had those Stafford moments. He threw 17 interceptions this year. At times, people said, is he going to be the guy in the playoffs with no real playoff experience? He did have those Stafford moments. He had those Stafford moments in the Super Bowl. He had 2 interceptions. I mean, the first one, you point at the guy and you throw an interception.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a given when you point. It either works out as a 50-yard bomb touchdown or it's a pick. I
think that's one of those things with Matthew Stafford too, which we don't really need to get into just really quick. He does point a lot. I don't know if you watched, he does point a lot when he throws. Yeah. Sometimes he does it to throw the guy. I know he's very good at the snake eyes, but the pointing I think is a flaw in his game. So that was a good point that you brought up.
Yeah. So I was kind of going into, I personally didn't think he could do it. Even with that kind of roster they had. They didn't necessarily, I wouldn't say they won despite him, although those Stafford moments, but I don't think he won them the Super Bowl. He was not, what's a good example? He was not Tom Brady-esque. He was not that killer that the guy you wanted on the line for the Super Bowl was that guy. Yeah. They didn't win despite him, and they didn't win necessarily all because of him. He contributed without being the main reason and being something super special like he was held to in Detroit.
And I just think that attests to the fact why he didn't win the MVP too, because it wasn't all. I think Cooper Kupp deserved that. Yeah,
which was my next point. Was he the most special QB we've seen win a Super Bowl? No. But he kind of, that game was an ultimatum of his career. Good, but not elite.
Yeah.
I think the Super Bowl puts him as a Hall of Famer. I do, especially with 3 more years of solid numbers that, we'll likely see out of him.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me because the Hall of Fame is for people that have been elite. And I still think he's never been a top 5 quarterback in the league at any point of his career. And I think that's kind of his biggest blemish.
What about now?
Hall of Fame. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. I think you could name 10 quarterbacks that could have won a Super Bowl for the Rams with that roster.
You mean if you drop that quarterback right into the Rams, everything?
And they still would have won the Super Bowl. I bet you could name about 8 to 12 names.
I can see. Yeah.
He's probably 8 to 12 in overall quarterback right now. And I think he's been as high as maybe 5 to 8, but I don't think he's ever been a top 5 quarterback. The statistics are somewhat misleading. They're amazing. They're somewhat misleading, but he's happy, and I was with you. I was rooting for him despite the depression and the cloud that is the Detroit Lions that always looms in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But overall, like I said, I'm happy for him, and it was nice to see him do it. I do have one last tangent while we're on Matthew Stafford.
Go ahead.
It's people in Detroit who are people that bought, sold, or had any affiliation with a Detroit Rams memorabilia.
Oh, boy.
You guys are losers.
Can I tell you something real quick, Connor?
Go ahead.
It is tied to that shirt. Did you know that shirt was in the store at the mall that is 1 mile from where we grew up?
I mean, I believe it.
Yeah.
We met Detroit through and through, but anyone who bought that, whatever mall sold that,
Laurel Park Mall. No, we're calling them out.
We will name names.
We're fucking calling them out.
You're a loser, and you're the reason that this organization will never win in my lifetime. The fact that you consider Stafford's win for the Lions or associate anything he has done this year with Detroit or the Detroit Lions or anything to do with your life on a day-to-day basis is pitiful. There are a few things in sports that I have seen that have given off more loser vibes than seeing the Detroit Ram shirts. There's few things. Think about every sports thing. There's so many organizations. The Bengals are still one of 12 organizations to not win a Super Bowl. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in 33 years.
I can name you another team, the Lions.
Exactly. But there are few things than latching on to another player on a different team and claiming him as your own, claiming it as a win as you become the second to last team in the league is so pitiful and so sad. I feel so bad that you have to sit there and watch that team every Sunday and that you don't have this much brain cells to
tell them.
That has nothing to do with you.
And a boy, tell them. Fucking tell them. No,
yeah,
they needed it.
You know, I'm going back on it. Everyone that did it is probably a wonderful person.
No, do not go back on it. You cannot go back.
I'm just saying that mentality is a loser, and it pissed me off more than actually me losing, me having the Rams -4 and them only winning by 3. It pissed me off more than that. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Oh, and that's tough. So real quickly, I have a question. Kind of just thought of it while you were ranting. By the way, that was a top 1 rant on the D3 Dropouts YouTube, by the way. Good job. So my question, I got to kind of form it while I'm asking it, but basically it has to do with, we've seen now Matthew Stafford gets traded, goes to LA, wins a Super Bowl. Justin Verlander leaves the Tigers, goes to the Astros, wins a World Series.
Right.
I think there was another person I saw. There was a couple others. Is Detroit cursed? Is the city of Detroit cursed?
Is the 2004 Pistons is our last title, correct? Oh no, the 08 Red Wings.
Yeah, and then because the Tigers lost the World Series in 11, right?
It's hard to, they lost in 06 and 11. It's hard to say that the city of Detroit is cursed when the Red Wings were just so dang good for so long. But it's unfortunately, it's really over the last couple of years with none of the 4 teams really being anything close to relevant.
The curse of the 2010s, maybe.
Yeah.
For the past 10 years, dude, I have not seen a good Detroit team.
Yeah, I think it's just there's this giant cloud. I wouldn't even call it a curse. Detroit is a fair weather sports market. It's a great city to be in. When the teams are good and the teams are playing well, people are super into it, super enthusiastic about it. But when it's not, it's like turning off the lights at night. It's off sometimes in Detroit, which is unfortunate because it is such a good sports town. But there is this, going back to the actual question, there's this cloud, I think, this dark cloud that's creating I guess you would say the bad weather in Detroit, going along with my analogy of weather. So I don't know about a curse, but definitely a giant cloud that hasn't moved on yet to sunnier days in Detroit, so to speak.
I agree with that, by the way. That was a good way to put it. I think the cloud is slowly starting to move. I think the Pistons are looking better slowly. I haven't really read up on the Tigers much just because of the whole lockout. I assume they're not going to be playing when it's.
Yeah, we'll get into that in another episode.
But just basically that's it.
Yeah, I have a couple more notes about the Super Bowl if you want to listen to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also think I saw a lot of the game is rigged comments on Twitter and social media. That's nothing more than exactly what I just said. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It is super suspect, I think, that they basically put the whistles away all game, and then there was a flurry of flags on that last drive. I did think the Cooper Kupp holding was weak, but also that's got to be one of the worst no calls on Jalen Ramsey for the T. Higgins touchdown.
Yep. Yeah. Oh no, it was Jamar Chase, I think. Oh no, it was T. Higgins.
No, it was T. Higgins.
It was T. Higgins. You're right.
Like you could see the motion, like pretty much live of his head whipping back. You knew something going on. So overall, it's an unfortunate thing criticizing reps, and it's so easy to do. And it's so easy when you get a game that everyone's watching, especially people that don't watch football a ton.
Yeah.
It's so easy to find a scapegoat and to highlight everything that went wrong because there's so many eyes on the game that everything you do is ridiculed as a ref. I actually didn't think the officials were bad. There were weak calls. I don't think they had any result on it.
I honestly enjoy the most of the game being there being no flags. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it was to a fault because, like I said, the Jalen Ramsey was an awful call. I actually don't think people are highlighting how bad of a no call that was. Maybe it's because the Rams ended up winning. It probably is. But I also, if it wasn't Jalen Ramsey, people probably would have been up in arms. Jalen Ramsey, one of the least likable players in the league in the history of football. So that's all I had about the refs. The Bengals, like I said, it's kind of meh. I mean, the O-line sucked. Joe Burrow was mediocre.
I thought he played a little better than mediocre.
I don't know. He made plays, but he wasn't killer Joe. We've learned this.
Yeah, but he was playing against the best defense. I think the Rams are top 3 defense in the NFL, and they have been for a while.
Of course. Yeah.
And I think he played them well with what he had.
Yeah, and no, you are right about that. I just think he wasn't killer Joe that we've seen over the playoffs that's led them to so many upsets. At LSU, not so much upsets, but just that guy that sits back in the chair and makes the cigar motion. He wasn't that killer today. It's hard to do that when you get sacked 7 times. So I think one note about the Bengals, if you're a Bengals fan who criticized the Jamar Chase pick, you were laughed at all year long because Jamar Chase is excellent and he's an amazing football player.
Yep.
Tonight, you may have been having a couple cocktails and telling your wife, I told him so, as you sat back in your little man cave watching the game, probably 7 beers deep if you're a Cincinnati fan at the half.
Oh, God, yeah.
But the O-line play was dreadful, and it really looked like they should and need to take O-line in the draft. I know they're not picking until 31. But that can be addressed moving forward if you want Joe Burrow to continue to be successful and the Bengals to continue to be successful.
So now, here's a question for you. Or not even a question. I'm gonna ask you what you think about it. We kind of criticized the Bengals offensive line there for a bit. One compliment I have is they did for a while have a very good game plan where they were doubling Aaron Donald. He was not touching Joe Burrow. And it fell apart in the second half, really.
Well, Von Miller was getting a ton of pressure. I think he also had 2 sacks.
Yep.
And it was kind of this double-edged sword of who are you going to double? You can't double everyone on the field, and then they chose not to double Von Miller. And you're right, the game changed from there. And Aaron Donald. And the game changed. I honestly think Aaron Donald had a case for the MVP.
Yeah.
I think I wrote down his stat line. Aaron Donald they had 2 sacks apiece. Yeah.
That's still good. I mean, he ended
the average person eats 8,000 calories during the game at a Super Bowl party.
Really?
Oh, dude. I was one of them. I had 2 of your dad's pretzels. I had 3 tacos. I had about a pound of chips and guac. I had cupcakes. I had cheesecake.
Dude.
I contributed to that heavy. Well, you ate your cafeteria food.
Yeah, little cafeteria food. My mom made me some dip. She brought it up the day before the game, so I had some dip and chips. Very low key Super Bowl up here in East Lansing, though.
Good. I had class the next day.
Yeah,
so
I did have class at 10:20 in the morning. I had something and now I don't remember. So let's just move on. I think the next thing we were going to talk about was MSU basketball, right?
Yeah. Did you want to talk anything like ads or halftime or anything social about this?
Yeah. You know what? Let's hit them with the commercial thoughts.
So first off, Brendan's got the sweetest little brother in the world. I had the pleasure of watching the game with him the other night. He complained about every single ad the second it came on, and he said, "This is the worst ad I have ever seen, guys." He's like, "Why are the commercials so bad?" As Penn State just freaking ties the game. Michigan State basketball, we'll get into it, is the biggest frustration in my life. They generally take years off my life watching Tom Izzo yell at freaking every point guard that ever has played for him. Sorry.
Hey, dude. Hey, Tom, we can't get at Tom Izzo.
No, I great guy, great coach. Um,
I think he's
someone
approaching Bob
it is in
Knight
my
for
opinion, but we'll get into that later. So I actually thought the ads were okay. The QR code I think was the one that
got
set
me.
me. It just stuck out because I thought it was such a clever idea, and every 14 to 24-year-old with a cell phone scanned it and immediately opened it up, and like it literally said out like your brother did it, and he's like, "Oh, 10. I spend $10, I get $25. Should I do it?" Every single kid did it, and I thought that super clever, not necessarily like funny
You know
or
what's
anything.
embarrassing is I did it too.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't.
You didn't?
Sure, that was the point.
No way, dude. It was up there for like 45 seconds. I was
I didn't
very
do it.
confused at what it was.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
That's
I was
bullshit.
wondering if it would hit like exactly in the corner, and of course it ended like that. Just
Yep.
brilliant. Whoever came up with that idea gets a raise. Anyways, I also
The
thought
Larry David ad, I thought was a good ad.
I wrote that down as well. That was
It
hilarious.
was a
But
great ad.
it was clear the crypto presence.
Yeah.
It's clear that they're there. They have the Bucks right now because there was a lot of different companies spending a lot of big money on a lot of talent, making a lot of big commercials on the biggest stage.
I think overall it was probably just like a very average advertisement year for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Better than last year. For
Koepka
sure.
had a funny little performance.
Yeah, I did see that.
Other than the fact that he choked on Sunday, and I had money on him to win
I
earlier.
didn't see any of that.
He was literally top 5 all week, and he was shot +1 on the front 9.
Oh,
Yeah, absolute choke job. I'm a huge fan of the confidence that he has. I like kind of that villain mantra that he takes on.
I don't know if he's a villain.
He kind of embraces this like I like golf is boring. I hate golf kind of thing.
He
And I
hates
think
like the aura around the golf. Like what
yeah,
they
and I think that builds a narrative in golf that golf needs in order to kind of stay relevant. But dude, it's embarrassing. You were like he was complaining about being ranked 20th in the world. He was going on and on about how if he was healthy, like he's like whatever, super good. And he played the worst of anyone in the top 10 going into Sunday. That like good commercial, dude. Go make more of those because clearly you're not even a top 20th player in the world if you can't win on Sunday.
It did make me smile to see his face pop up though during the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie. I guess maybe not yours after he just choked you. Lost you some money.
It was like if you tried to stab me and then you just twisted it. Seeing his face up there.
Oh, that's tough. So speaking of stabbing you and twisting you, it seems like Michigan State basketball has been doing that lately. Is that the case?
Yeah, so kind of looking ahead, we'll kind of do every week here. We'll kind of do a look in on Michigan State basketball. So last week, obviously, they had the loss to Wisconsin.
Yeah, tough loss.
Physical win at home against Indiana. A good win in a game where the refs just really wanted to be the number one star of the game because the whistle was not put away. H.A. Hogarth got tossed. It was super physical. It was a free throw contest. They won. Not much to say about it. The team has had a very, very poor February.
But overall, decent season. Poor February, decent season.
Decent season. I would say about what I expected. I think we're right where we should be now. We're ranked 19th.
But we had 2 or 3 weeks in the top 10 at 10, I guess.
Yeah, we were 10. We were like 8 to 14 for a while, and then February we've gradually gone down. I think we're like a 17 to 30th best team in the country. I think we're a 5 seed in a tournament and hopefully make it.
I think that's low.
I see. There's no like Gabe Brown's their best player. Max Christie's really good, but you've seen the last 2 weeks. Like sometimes it feels like there's no one on the court that can score and make the play for himself. Malik Hall's been the only player that can do that. They're tied at the half, 24-24. What kind of game? Why do I want to spend my Tuesday night watching a 24-24 basketball game? I got better things to do. I got better people to see than watch a bunch of 19-year-olds throw a ball at a rim and just watch it clank back to them. Sorry, another rant.
No, you're good. I really have no way to defend them. I was sitting there trying to think of a defense, but I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of going into this week, they play Penn State and then they play the big one at home against Illinois.
Penn State, by the way, is my game of the night for the picks.
Yeah. So they're currently -2.5. They're tied at the half with Penn State. So I kind of off that physical win, I hope it would have gave us a little more momentum going into it. The rotations were much better. Hoggard should stay as a starter. Tyson Walker played better off the bench. It's kind of the same thing as Malik Hall. And then he's been our best player, but I don't really see the need to start him when he plays more minutes. He plays a lot more minutes than Hauser anyways. Like that role is his to come off the bench and provide some spark.
I don't mind Hauser though.
No, Hauser's the most ridiculed player on that roster because he came in with all the hype as a transfer.
Yeah.
And he's a good secondary scoring outlet when you need it.
Yep.
He's not a superstar scorer that we expected. And I think just expectations were so high that people really see him in a much more negative spotlight than he's actually performed. He's a good physical player. He plays hard, and he could shoot the rock when need be. I don't think he's anything crazy special.
So I guess my defense to you then earlier would be then wait for the tournament, because I think we have a very mechanical put together roster. There's not a ton of superstars. There's no all-stars. There's no McDonald All-Americans. They're all very well put together basketball players who, when they're put in the right positions, work as a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and that's what an Izzo team is supposed to do. I mean, we'll see this week. Obviously, kind of a slow start here against Penn State, which I would win big. We need Christie to get hot this week.
We'll see second half. You never know.
Yeah, so we play Illinois Saturday. I don't like us against them. Illinois has played really good basketball since Kofi Coburn has been healthy. It is at home. I think, and like I said, I think the team's a little overrated. We're a team right now that loses to, it's even hard to say we beat bad teams because we have a couple of really bad losses. But overall, I think we're a team that loses to bad teams or beats bad teams, loses to good teams. We're right in there.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Who's good that we beat besides Wisconsin?
Oh, didn't we beat Illinois the last time?
No, we lost by 1. Without Kofi Coburn, we lost.
Are you sure?
Yep, positive. Malik Hall missed a free throw.
You're right. Yep, you're right. Yep, you're right. And that was without Kofi?
That was without Kofi Coburn, yeah.
Dude, okay. So
give me any spread that says Illinois minus 8.5 or less. No, 7.5 or less.
Okay.
Take it. I do not like the Spartans in that one. I'm hoping that we can pull this one out. We'll go 1-1. We'll probably slip somewhere in the 20s moving into next week, and we can kind of talk about these two games more in depth next week.
Yeah. So damn, you just got all Debbie Downer on MSU basketball. Tom Izzo, I guess we'll just throw in a little stat here. Tom Izzo is approaching the most wins as a Big Ten coach ever. As he gets closer to the end of the season. I don't know how many more he has, but he's getting pretty close. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I guess he is.
He is. He's getting old too.
So do you want to, kind of wrapping up the show here with our last couple of things to talk about? So every week we're going to give you guys a mortal lock. That's our pick. Brendan's going to give you one, but I'm going to give you an even better one.
Yeah, real one.
Brendan's going to give you a lock. I'm going to give you a mortal lock, which means if this pick loses for this week, you can personally in the comments say anything you want to say about me. Go at me. Go dive into me. Tell me I'm dumb. Tell me I'm stupid. Tell me I don't know anything about sports. I don't. Just tell me it. Okay?
Go ahead.
My mortal lock this week is Saturday at noon. UConn is plus 1.5 versus Xavier. Xavier is 7-6 in the Big East this year. They've been a little inconsistent after a hot start. 1-2 in their last 3. Their only win in their last 3 was UConn in a close game at home. I think it's hard to beat a team. They played about 10 days apart. It's hard to beat a team that close. And when it comes to betting, I really like that, especially in a competitive conference like the Big East. UConn is 12-2 at home this year. They're going to be at home on Saturday. They beat Seton Hall. Hopefully, if they beat Seton Hall on Wednesday, they'll be riding into a high note. That's my mortal lock.
There you go. There you have it. UConn.
We are the world's biggest UConn fans on Saturday.
UConn, book it, book it, book it.
My good friend Joe Tobin's watching. I'm sorry, Xavier. You've been good to me in the past, but I'm a Husky fan now. Let's go.
All right. And so I guess from talking about Huskies, we'll move into Daddy versus Donkey.
What a transition.
I don't know, dude. There's no way to transition that.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I guess we'll start off with my daddy.
Yeah, lots of dads wear Husky jeans too. So
yeah, there you go. That's not even how I was thinking. I was more thinking just animal, donkey, dog.
Oh.
Yeah. Very basic level of thinking. So my daddy for the week, very basic. Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Very happy for him. Singular, not the Rams, just him. He deserves it. Great QB. He's stuck in a lot of shit. Got out of it. Got traded. I mean, he was put into a miracle of a situation, obviously, but he capitalized on what they wanted him to do. So he's my daddy for the week.
My daddy. I wish he was my daddy. It's Snoop Dogg.
There you go. Okay, that's a great
go
one.
Into the halftime show, but I thought my man Snoop killed it. It was a great show.
Great show.
A little too young for a lot of that, so it wasn't the most memorable or relatable thing in the world for me. No, but I thought it was a good show, and I just wanted to highlight that Snoop Dogg smoking a joint literally the second before he gets on the stage.
Literally seconds.
Like you knew he was ripping
before, like in the backstage. I mean, backstage was like a fucking.
But literally seconds before. That's the most Snoop Dogg thing I've ever seen. Stay true to yourself. That's who I want my daddy to be. Snoop Dogg's my daddy this week.
There you go. That's great. I honestly didn't mind the halftime show. It was all right. I thought Eminem wasn't that good. I thought Kendrick Lamar wasn't that good. I thought Mary J. Blige wasn't that good. Really, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre was all I was there for, and they came around for me. So, without further ado, my donkey, also related to the game, we kind of talked about it. Eli Apple. That dude, that last drive, he might be donkey of the year, not just donkey of the week.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because I saw like a drinking game like around the Super Bowl, and one of the things was Eli Apple gets burned, take a sip, and like in parentheses, the only one was you are now blackout or whatever. I think it's funny that he's so hateable that there were like you had McCole Hardman like and other players ripping into him while he's getting burned.
Dude, I would have hated to open my Twitter and be Eli Apple on Sunday night.
I mean, Eli,
He was trending on Twitter the next day, and I mean, people were saying some nasty, nasty things about him.
Yeah, I mean, you play that bad at football, you're gonna hear it, and he is the worst. So I like the donkey, but I think I have an even better donkey.
Oh
who
God!
played in the Super Bowl, who is also a member of the Bengals, or probably should no longer be a member of the Bengals. His name is Vernon Hargreaves III. He is the man who looked like he was about to go to the beach.
Yeah.
Bengals sandals, and decided that he was going to prance onto the field and whip a towel around and just join the celly with the boys.
His little dance, yeah.
His little dance cost his team field position, which ultimately, hurt their chances of getting a field goal going into halftime. Yep. What are you thinking?
Oh God! I mean, dude, that guy, he might be cut in the offseason. I mean,
like they showed the picture of him on the bench. Like I would say, go home. Take off the team slippers that you.
Yeah, I don't want you wearing my fucking logo if you're gonna do that bullshit for sure.
Take off the hoodie. No more team apparel. You're not getting on the bus. Find your way home to Cincinnati.
So now my question for you, since you obviously did a little research, was this guy, he was hurt, or was he like, is he not a good player? Is he a good player?
So I don't.
Do not really know.
I didn't really get that. It just said he was inactive, but was watching from his sidelines in the training. Obviously.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah,
I think that would have a little bit more weight on whether or not he gets cut in the offseason, depending on maybe salary. You can just look up his salary, maybe how important he is to the team.
Yeah. I don't think he's anything. Like, I talk about a way to ruin your career if you are just a fringe guy like that. Like, holy crap. That's my donkey of the week. people not in uniform thinking they're in uniform never ends well.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, thinking back now, like what in his mind was he thinking? Like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna run on the field and dance with them. Like,
yeah, like I wonder where he was at on the sidelines too. Like, was he
like how far did he? Yeah, how far did he have to come?
Was this man like with like talking to like the cheerleaders way back in the back, and then he just whips his head around, and then he's just like his first reaction is just to sprint onto the field.
Yeah,
like the dude probably hasn't even seen the field once this year, but he felt the need that this was the time to go onto the field during live action.
Yeah, especially, yeah, I mean, he picked the wrong time. That's simply, I mean, there's no time to do that, but definitely the Super Bowl is not the right time to do that.
I don't think there's the right time to do that. That's why he's lucky.
So I think that wraps up Daddy and Donkey. Did you have anything else?
No, that's it. We deep dove the biggest game of the year. So guys, I think moving forward, we're going to do some fun segments to kind of keep things lively. But we're going to stick mostly to big Detroit sports news. If there's not much going on in terms of that, we will branch into other stuff. If you want us to talk about anything, let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Show us to your friends. Obviously
like and subscribe.
A couple of D3 dropouts. We love talking about riffing off sports. I go on my rants. Brendan listens to my rants. So just please like and subscribe. It's really easy if you're watching this video right now.
There's a little red rectangle literally right where I'm pointing right now. You just click it and it says subscribe. You just click it.
Yes. So let us know what you want us to talk about. We're going to stick to mostly, MSU, some U of M, even though we hate them. Detroit stuff for the most part, but we'll mix in some fun stuff for you guys moving forward.
Yep, so absolutely. So that's all we got for you. Thank you. Peace.
Baby working for the table, throwing these blue hundreds while you dancing for the label. Yeah.